Hi, good day, cherished viewers. Joseph Atta is my name, from Ghana, West Africa. Welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth, which refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ, our Church of Christ. It has two purposes as follows. One, to teach the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1 verse 1. By proving, we go to Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word for God there is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus Christ, the Word, God the Holy Spirit. Two, to teach the truth. John 8:32. And you know the truth, and the truth will make you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. What is the truth manifestation? John 14 verse 6. And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me or except through me. Means that there is no other way. Acts 4 verse 12 is saying that there is no name under which we are being saved under the heavens except Jesus Christ. UMax Campus Church, Eccl. You are invited. All members are welcome. Doris Odonko, Mrs. Atta, officially you are welcome to the program. I love you so much. I've missed you as well. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 is saying that there is time for everything. Your time will soon come. God is going to answer your prayers. Having said this, I thank all those who have previously donated to support Mining for the Truth. My brother in Dubai, you bought me this tablet, Samsung. God bless you so much. I wouldn't know how to present by now. This is so mobile, makes my presentation so effective. There's no laptop here to block my screen or my face from people as I preach. God bless you so much. May He replaces whatever you have lost. And I thank all of you for subscribing and following the page or the channel Mining for the Truth. Once again, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Last week, now the theme is the book of Ecclesiastes. Then topic is searching for the true meaning of life. Subtopic is the Pedagogy of chapter 7, episode 2. Last week was episode 1, making wise choices in an uncertain world. We continue by saying, faithful are the wounds of a friend. Ecclesiastes 7, verse 5 to 10. So let's read. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 5 to 10. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. 6. For like the crackling of tongues under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. 7. Surely oppression destroys a wise man's reason, and a bribe debases the heart. 8. The end of a thing is better than its beginning. The patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. 9. Do not hasten in your spirit to be angry, for anger rests in the bosom of fools. 10. Do not say, why were the former days better than these? For you do not inquire wisely concerning this. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. How do you understand the episode? It means that for you to be able to correct and rebuke a friend when the person has sinned. Now, when you are done with the correction and then the rebuking, the one who will accept it is a wise person. But the person who is going to refuse this correction and then the rebuke is a foolish man or a foolish person. This is the the entire idea about faithful at the wounds of a friend. Is the person going to be receptive or he's going to repel? Sorrow, he says, is far better teacher than laughter. Sorrow is a far better teacher than laughter. We have what we call empathy. To be in the shoes of someone who is in sorrow. To be sensitive to a friend's problem and not being apathetic. Not apathy, but empathy. We have some adjective called meretricious. meretricious. That's why I prefer that. Very soon my board will come so that I can write some of these words on the board. Meretricious means fake or flashy. Of course, as I said, it is an adjective as a part of the speech. Attractive only on the surface, but having no real value or sincerity. To pretend that you care for someone. When your friend sins, when your friend is walking on the wrong path and you fail to correct, then we give you the word meretricious. You are equally as fake as your friend who is now trespassing. And trespassing means trespassing. You are only attractive on the surface, but having no real value or sincerity. You are being insincere. If you are a sincere person, you have to correct and rebuke the person. We move on. So sorrow is far better teacher than laughter. We are not saying that don't be happy, but we are making reference to a friend who has sinned. You are correcting and rebuking, and the person has burst into laughter. He's making fun of you. He's making mockery of you. So far as you are laughing, you are not learning any sense. Sometimes this person is joined by colleagues, by friends, by peers, and they make mockery of you. Meanwhile, you try to save him. How often do you accept criticisms? Have you lost a friend, a closest friend, a wife, a mother, a sister, a sibling, a relative, because you corrected and you rebuked the person? Now Solomon is saying that being corrected is painful to the ego, and our first impulse will be to reject it. The first impulse will be to reject it. Mostly, or many a time, reject it. The first thing is that we hate it. Because it is so painful to the ego, the person can't sleep. Wherever he is, he cannot sleep. When he recalls your name, then he or she will have to wake and sit on the bed. He hates correction. Mr. Right, Mrs. Right, I am all perfect. You are too young to correct me. You don't qualify to correct me. Who are you to correct me? So it is very painful to the ego. And if you are not careful, this will lead to a feud. Protracted, how do we even call it? Protracted feud, yes. Protracted feud. So you see that one thing, the word feud means protracted litigation. And you know protractor. It goes circular, 360 degrees. So always the issue still remains, or the issue still remains. Your duty is to correct it. Whether he accepts it or not, it is none of your business. You have done your part. If you go to the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that your duty is to warn. For them to listen or not, it's not your business. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. Also, there is a way that seems right in our own eyes, but its end is destruction. Proverbs 12 verse 15 references Proverbs 14 verse 12, 16 verse 2, verse 25, chapter 21 verse 2. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. It is only a fool who will refuse a correction. You are trying to warn the person that there's a pending danger. So take precautions. Be careful. Take some safety measures so that when you are approaching, you'll be able to defend yourself. The person say, hey, who are you? How dare you to correct me or to tell me this or that? But you were only offering some safety measures. That's all. So that the person will be equipped. Be aware and beware of a danger, of a pending danger. Proverbs 12 verse 15, 14 verse 12, 16 verse 2, 16 verse 25, 21 verse 2. There is a way that seems right, but its end is destruction. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counseling is wise. It is only a fool who will refuse to be corrected and to be rebuked. It makes you a bigger fool. But to someone who is wise, the person will sit down, will try to recall the events, will try to review, to examine, and the person will say that, oh, indeed, I made a mistake in this portion. Then maybe you can still continue as you were. The willingness to receive counsel and correction from wiser heads is critical. It is not easy for someone to counsel you. It is not easy for someone to counsel, especially someone who is in the Lord's church. You must then know that the person have your issues at their own heart or his or her heart. We must correct someone that we love. So if you are in the Lord's church or someone who is very knowledgeable in the Bible is correcting, then it means that the person has really, no, after all, what do we gain from correcting someone? How much are we paid? Always I've been saying that no teacher is giving additional monetary salary for correcting a child, for caning a child, for implementing a child in the school. Never. We don't know them. No teacher knows the students. The teacher is only doing his or her work. That's all. So if not for foolishness, why would a student refuse the punishment from a teacher? Someone who is your mentor, to lead you, to train you, to pass on the experience that he or she has to you. You try to repel it. Then I am asking that, how much is the person gaining for correcting and then rebuking you? Are you paying him back? You must always know that the person has our issue in his heart, or he or she has your best of interest in his or her heart. Then the person loves you. That's why. It is far more pleasant to listen to the mindless approval of fools, but to be seduced by their fawning or flattering compliments is hazardous. We are saying that don't be happy when you are sinned and your friends are applauding you. They are as fools as you are. And their compliment becomes hazardous. They are flattering. They are flattering you. It is so hazardous. And in engineering, a hazard is incident. And incident is always equal to accident. There will be an accidental fault because there were no precautions. How or why? Because you refused the correction and then the rebuke. The correction and rebuke were the precautions. The word is pre plus caution. So it's a compound word. Pre means before, and caution means alertness. So precaution means measures taken in advance to protect or to minimize injury to the operator during working. Simple. Of course, I did engineering. I practiced engineering. So I know safety. Of course, a synonym for precaution is safety measures. Or you can replace it by saying safety measures. It is dangerous time when everyone is singing praises. Luke 6, verse 26a. Woe to you when all men are praising you. Now, let's see. Luke 6, verse 26a. When you have an issue and you have some people who are sympathizing with you, then be careful because they're not doing you good. Be careful of those that you call, that you discuss the issue with. How many of them have been able to point to you that, no, my sister, my brother, this that you did was wrong? If they are all for you, then let's see. Woe to you when all men speak well of you. Luke 6, verse 26a. Woe to you. Woe to you when all men speak well of you. So be careful. My sister, my brother, if you are listening to me, faithful are the wounds of a friend. The compliment of fools is hazardous. Now, Solomon has been on this subject before. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The kisses of an enemy are always deceitful. The person is already an enemy. Why? Because he is a fool and he's complimenting you in your foolishness. So we need to cherish the friends who are enough for us to correct us even at the risk of the relationship. When your friend should take that boldness to correct you, even at the risk of your union, my friend, if you are wiser, try to accept your fault, then rebuild your union. And this can happen between closest friends. This can also happen between a husband and then a wife, where the woman hates to be corrected, where the man hates to be corrected. If you don't know and then you correct your man, sometimes he refuses to give you chop money. He refuses to eat your food. In fact, there is greater harm upon you and then in the home. So the best is to keep quiet. My dear husband, your wife loves you. That's why she's correcting you. And also to you, the woman, when you dress indecently and your man is complaining, be humble enough to accept it. Because you're going to ruin your marriage. You're going to repel him. You're going to ruin the love that he has built for you. Because you are completely indisciplined. We are going to narrate a story between King David, Uriah, Bathsheba, and then Nathan. We are saying that Nathan's rebuke of David was truly a risky business. Once again, you have said that it is so risky to correct a friend at the expense of losing a long-built, years-lasting relationship. Now let's go to 2 Samuel 11 verse 1 to 27. I'm going to narrate the story. We will continue from 12 verse 1 to 7. Now 2 Samuel 11 verse 1 to 27. Now from the verse 1 and 2 is saying that it was the season for kings to go to war. David remained at Jerusalem and he sent the Israelites to a war. Now, this army was led by his nephew, his partially chosen nephew, Joab, because they were three, and he chose Joab. So, as David was walking on his roof majestically, Satan gave him work to do because he was idle. He saw that a woman was bathing. The name was Bathsheba. He watched So therefore, he lasted. He sent for her, raped her, tried to conceal his sins. He sent for the husband Uriah to stop the war, to come to the house, to go and sleep in his house. When Uriah came, David offered him food and drink with the hope that he was going to sleep in his matrimonial home. But the next day, he saw that the man slept at the palace, I think the entrance of the door. Now, David saw that he was going to be exposed. Now, if Uriah had gone to sleep in or at his matrimonial home, then David was going to accuse him that he slept with a wife, but he didn't. So David was annoyed inwardly. Now, to cover up, he gave him letter to be given to Joab. Inside this letter, now the content was Uriah's death warrant. In the olden days, who are you, or who were you to open the letter given to by the king to be given to his nephew, army commander? So Uriah, being innocent, gave the letter to Joab, and it was saying that he should be placed on the front line. So he was killed. Now, if you go to 2 Samuel 11, verse 26, it's saying that Bathsheba grieved intensely about the death of her husband. And the mourning continues in the verse 27. When her mourning was over, David foolishly married her. So this means that he planned. He knew what he was doing. If he had then regretted, why should you kill the husband and then marry the wife by force? In fact, rape was an assault, actually. That rape was an assault, and no woman will accept that. 2 Samuel 11, verse 27 is saying that God was not happy with the thing David had done. So he sent Nathan to King David. So 2 Samuel 12, verse 1 to 4 is saying that. Now Nathan went to the palace of King David. He began a story and narrated as follows. 2 men lived, one rich, one poor. The rich man had herds and flocks, and the poor man had only one ewe. He ate with it, he drank with it, and he slept with it. He treated this ewe as his own daughter, and you know how, the intimacy between a father and then a daughter. So the Bible says that he treated the ewe as his own daughter, personal daughter. So this means that the ewe was so closest, dearest to the poor man's heart. Now the rich man got a visitor. Then instead of him to kill from his herds and flocks, he killed the only one ewe belonging to the poor man. Now verse 5 is saying that David's anger rekindled, and he said, the man deserved to be killed, or the man need to die, for he had done something which should not be done on the land. Now on the verse 6, 2 Samuel 12 verse 6 is saying that David said the man must pay in 4 folds. So David has killed himself. Then verse 7 is saying that Nathan said to David, you are the man. So this is the correction and then the rebuking. And this is the entire concept about today's episode. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. How do you receive rebuke and correction? He said, you are the man. Was a risky business because already he had killed a man called Uriah. Why is it that, or why was it that Nathan was bold? Because he was filled by the Holy Spirit. So also we are. When we correct you, it is by the means of God, not by our own strength. So we are saying that Nathan loved David and gave him what he desperately needed a good dose of the truth. 2 Samuel 12 verse 7. You are the man is a good dose. I hope you know a dose by medicine. DOSE. A good medicine that David desperately needed. Of course, he wasn't aware. And this was a risky business. Now, if we love people, we will warn them of the consequences of dying in their sins. If you love a friend, you will warn him. How do you warn? By correction, by rebuking. Because you don't want him or her to perish and go to Tartarus and to hell in his or her sins. This is the main reason why we correct. And there's nothing else again that we gain. No payment from nowhere, no one. You must be reprimanded. The offender must be rebuked. If you don't understand, we care less. Fact is information without emotion. If the truth, be the correction and then the rebuke, will kill you, you die and you go to hell. We care less. Of course, at the end of the judgment, I care less. I don't care who I lose. The right thing must be done. I'm a father. I am just transparent. I am neither opaque nor translucent, but rather transparent. I face fact a lot. So if you don't have a heart, you can never, you can start working with me, but you can never end with me because I hate sin. I hate sin a lot. And I will not follow you to go to hell. Now this person that you try to comfort, when he is given the chance to choose people to go to heaven with, he will choose his wife, his children, his family members, his community. When there's a reserve card or slot before he remembers you or she remembers you. So you be a blind follower. Be a blind follower. Woe to you if all men speak well of you. Luke 6:26a. We continue. We all need the courage and good sense to accept correction, however painful. Be courageous enough to accept. Be humble. It is always Satan who will ruin your heart to repel correction, rebuke, which might rather lead you to danger. Due to danger, pending danger, that's why the person is trying to correct you. Due to pending danger that you don't know, you have been blindfolded. David was blindfolded by Satan, and God had to open his eyes through Nathan. And you are also to know that when you go to Romans 2 verse 21, it is saying that or while we teach, we learn. So you, the person who is also correcting a friend, who is rebuking, you yourself must be also what? Upright or righteous. Nathan was upright, so he qualified to rebuke David. For example, you are cheating on your wife, and you are in the church preaching against polygamy and then others. This makes you a hypocrite. So as you intend to correct someone, see to it that you're also an upright person. While we teach, we learn. So as you're correcting, you are also learning. This is the sense that we learn from Romans 2 verse 21. We cannot with wisdom spend all our lives in the house of mirth, where shallow and sometimes unholy laughter acts as a sedative to dull our emptiness. Oh, so you think that by the virtue of entertainment, where they are always enjoying life, where sometimes there's an unholy laughter. Not all laughters are good. It could be a form of mockery. Sometimes it is even annoying the way they laugh. And sometimes people they pick fights out of it. In all cases, You can't laugh to empty your problems. It is a lie. People pay money to go to National Theatre to laugh out their hearts. You come back home, meet the same problem. So the best thing was that you should have stayed in the home and solve it before attending this laughter comedy center. We are not saying don't attend or the program. Of course, it is good. Depending on how you were created. I don't believe in that. I have never ever watched any movie to laugh out my heart to solve my problem. Never ever. Never ever in my life. I'm not saying that you and I are equal. Maybe it is true that some people can attend a program and laugh out their heart by comedian and their issues are gone. Fine. Maybe it could be a good therapy for maybe some psychologists and the rest. Fine. But I don't believe in that. I have always solved my problems through prayers by consulting God. I've never ever, I don't even have money to waste to pay for a ticket, go and, no. I don't have time for that. I try to avoid gambling. As Solomon says, the song of fools is similar to burning thorns under a pot, nettles under a kettle. Nettles under a kettle, which leap up in a flash of flame, but bring no lasting benefit. Yes, we all know kettle, a pot for boiling water. For how many days, how many weeks, how many hours will the water still remain as hot as it was? With time, it will cool down, and the fire, which is also heating up this kettle, will not remain forever. Even if it is a gas, either you switch it off or it gets finished with time. Nettles under a kettle means that it will not last or it will not serve the purpose forever. Nettles under a kettle. Mostly with my book, I use more figure of speech, part of speech, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, idioms, and phrases a lot. When we are captivated, we are fascinated, entertained by the apparently glory of this passing world, we are doomed to miss the critical and lasting lessons that come from divine wisdom. How can you always laugh in this life? Ecclesiastes 3:1 is saying that there's time for everything. There's time for laughter, time for sorrow. So what do you mean by you're always happy? It is a lie. When you are always happy, drinking, dancing, merrymaking, we call it revel, you will never learn any sense in this life. You grow up without any experience, no practical experience, because you lived superficial life, devoid of practicality. It is not advisable to go feasting through the graveyard. We are well advised by the preacher not to be bribed or extorted into stupidity by temptations of pleasure of this present age. Ecclesiastes 7:7. I will ask you, did you pay bribe to be recruited? Yes, I'm asking you. You are a Christian watching me from everywhere. Did you pay bribe to get a recruitment? Did you pay bribe to be the manager? Did you pay bribe to buy a house, to build? Did you pay bribe upon which you have not prospered now? I'm asking you. Now, the Lord's church is not made up of people who are solely righteous. As you see me, I'm a sinner. So, the fact that I attend Church of Christ does not mean that I am 100% pure or righteous. No. But we are making reference to those who are in the churches of Christ, who have paid bribe, who are still paying bribe, who are collecting bribes, and they are still in there because of the pressure of this present age. When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. It's a foolish statement to a Christian. We are warned that do not follow the multitude to sin or to do evil. When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. It's a foolish statement to add the same factor because I'm a teacher, professional, I'm a teacher. Are you telling me that when I am posted to a school and officers there are drinking alcohol, they are all sleeping with the girls because I've gone to Rome, I should also drink and they womanize? How do you understand this statement? When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. I don't do that. Matthew 5, verse 13 and 14. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. A salt which has lost its saltiness is useless because people will trample over it. A light which has been lighted, or a lamp lighted and hidden under a table is useless because it will perform no task, no function. Rather, you should be in the open space to bright than to shine amidst the sinners. You are the salt to disinfect the corrupt world. But here, you have appeared to be the same. So you have become virtually useless. You are so useless that even a filthy rag is important than you being alive. You are as useless as a filthy rag for appearing to be the same or equal with them, because someone has said that when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. It means that you are not a Christian and you are a disgrace. You are trespassed, and trespassing means trespassing. Once again, refuse to be pressured by this present age. Do not extort money from friends. Some people are better entrepreneurs because they extorted money from their friends. They exploited people and they continue to extort and exploit. Evil gain. Go to a Christian shop. The price to his or her item is far more than even a believer who is in the world, where we always preach against them. Sins are nowadays found in the lost church than even the denominations. When you are in the church and you hear some confessions, they say, wow, how can a human being sit down idly to commit, some even plan and they intentionally do it, then they go there to confess that I didn't know what came over me. I mean, how possible that I didn't, I mean, how can a rational human being say that I didn't know what came over me? You didn't know what came over you. Anyway, we move on. We must be wise enough to look down the different paths before us and determine where they are leading. Do not do what the Romans do when you are in Rome. Choose the narrow path where we strive through it than the broad way. I repeat, we must be wise enough. We must be wise enough to look down the different paths before us. That is trying to, we call this introspection. You introspect and determine, to examine, to scrutinize, of course, a synonym of determine where they are leading. So, how can you mislead me? Because the Bible is my constitution. What isn't found in the Bible, I won't do it. Now, people don't believe that the Bible, fine. I don't care. God himself is not forcing anyone to worship him. And I don't have a specific people to be converted before God will guarantee me heaven. My duty is to preach the gospel of Christ. You choose to listen to it or not. I don't care. God has not told us to beg someone to listen to the gospel of Christ. No. He's saying that when you go and they are even trying to repent, we must move on to people who are more receptive. Choose wisely. Have some precaution to determine where you are going. It is not how we begin, but how we end that matters. Where did you start your Christianity? Where are you now? We must not be discouraged by the difficulties of the right path. We must not be discouraged. You'll be mocked. Be courageous for choosing the right path. Or spend our time railing angry against life and fairness and injustice. Even if you're doing the right thing and the world is against you, if you don't pay bribe, you will not employ you. This and that, they are all against you. Don't be angry as a Christian. Life is unfair to we as Christians. Precisely to those of us who still choose life the right way. The right way means that to walk in the narrow path where you have to struggle vigorously. The word is strive. So sometimes your skin may peel because you're trying to go through something which is so narrow. So you are choked, and by force, you push until the door is opened. And by so doing, there are some bruises and deformation actually. Trust in God's gracious providence or providence and the patient pursuit of his wise way and its far better end. What is needed? Rely on God's providence. When he wishes, he provides. Where he wishes, he provides. You don't question him. Be patient in your perseverance. So we are saying that patience pursuits. Pursue in patience of his way, and its far better end is what is needed. The end, in fact, when God blesses you, you don't even fall ill by heart. To walk with God is the greatest task that I have chosen in this life. But once again, when you learn about stress management, there's something we call euphoria. When you are tired and when you struggle a lot, at the end you become satisfied. Euphoria. Upon all the struggles with God, now I've been enjoying my life as a Christian. The end of something is better than its beginning. Patience is better than pride. It is not always that you have to speak. Sometimes they are accusing you wrongly. It is not always that you have to defend yourself. I'm not saying don't defend yourself, but it is not always vital. Sometimes someone inside this panel will stand or raise their hand to defend them. No, this lady, this man is not so. Patience is better than pride. Then it's not where you have to stand up to agitate. Who are you? This and that. No, you're a Christian. Patience pursuits. Anger and impatience are found in the heart of a fool. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 8 and 9. We almost ended. So be patient. So far as this accusation will not send you to jail or to the law court, but it is a gathering. Be patient. The truth will come. At times they will not even listen to you. They can falsely accuse you, maybe of a sexual assault to a girl or so. Sometimes the more you struggle, that is where they will conclude that you are a victim. But based on your calmness, then someone will say, no, this person, I didn't choose the way he reacted. He seemed to be so innocent. They will see you as innocent based on your patience, not your anger in defense. Now we are on the Ecclesiastes 7 verse 10. The 10th verse has been challenging to students of Ecclesiastes, by remembering that Ecclesiastes is not same as Proverbs, a series at times of discrete wise sayings that do not necessarily have any connection with each other. Ecclesiastes sometimes, though I'm in 7th chapter, but I can sometimes link it to maybe chapter 2 verse maybe 1. You understand? I'm just giving you a scenario. Each has a different meaning, in case you are unaware. The next period sometimes repetitively through the book, but yet have context. So each has its own context. Do not say, he questions, why are the former days better than these? For you do not inquire wisely concerning this. A constant lament about the world going to the dogs will not help us to live wisely in the world as it is. Deuteronomy 29 verse 9 is saying that the secret things belongs to the Lord our God. Deuteronomy 29 verse 29a. This is what Moses wrote far years ago before you were born. And we can link it to the Ecclesiastes 7 verse 10. That do not say, he questions, why are the former days better than these? For you do not inquire wisely concerning this. It means that you didn't show prudence. Who are you? How dare you to question God? He decides. The secret things belong to the Lord, our God. Don't question him. For you do not inquire wisely. So this means that when you try to question God, it means you are being unreasonable. A constant lament, constant complaining about the world, going to the dogs, of course. I will now explain the phrase going to the dogs. Will not help us live wisely in the world as it is. That the Christian suffers in his righteousness, and then the wicked prospers in his wickedness. So therefore you are questioning God. God, why is it that the Christian suffers in his righteousness and the wicked prospers in his wickedness? It means that you didn't read 29 verse 29. It is an attitude filled with pessimism and despair and inaction. The world has always been going to the dogs, but God is in heaven, and we can serve him no matter what. So don't think that God is there watching you idle. He knows what he's doing. He's preparing you. My fellow brother and sister who is suffering in the lost church, God is preparing. You are in what we call flames of affection. Flames of affection. You are being refined. Now let's explain the phrase going. The world is going to the dogs. Recently, I think a Nigerian president was saying that men must marry more than one wife. The same Nigeria, a musician, renowned musician, also said that he can love one woman, but he cannot sexually love and live with one woman. Therefore, men are biologically polygamous. They are celebrities. So, for example, a footballer, musician, actor, actress, they are destroying the world. Always have been saying that. And if they are not baptized to become Christians, they will all go to hell at the end. You challenge me and see. Now, what do you see from footballers? Roughen haircuts, lines in their hairs, tattoo. They are celebrities. Artificial nails, eyelashes, plastic surgeries. I mean, turning themselves into what they think is right in their own eyes. The actors and then the actresses, they teach the youth to drink, to join secret societies, to cheat, a whole lot. There's no sense in watching movies nowadays. The way they dress, the way they talk back to their husbands, how a child will answer the mother in the movie. It's an eyesore. The world has gone to the dogs, in the sense that people who do not deserve are those in power. And when they talk, they are heard. You are a Christian. If you know what I'm saying, how many will even have time to watch? If you're unlucky, someone will even want to delete you from a Facebook account, because he's so annoyed to hear you. Your neighbor could be angry with you. Your neighbor can give you an attitude, because he or she has been hearing that your preaching affects his or her lifestyle. But we don't care. I do my thing, and I won't force you to listen. Going to the dogs. Nowadays, Indian movies are seen to be exposure, to be more indecency than Tamil. You see, for Indians, they also have different states. So the Hindus have lost their culture in acting. So Tamil people, or the Indians who speak the Tamil, they are rather more decent. So there's a conflict. We come to Africa, precisely Ghana, in case we are preserving our cultural heritage. Indecency is everywhere. The world is going to the dogs. The phrase means that deteriorating, becoming weaker and worse in quality. So culture has become weaker and worse in quality. Everything in this world is gradually becoming weaker and worse in quality. The phrase going to the dogs means to be ruined. R-U-I-N-E-D. On this note, my name is Chpt. Next time, I will see you on episode 3. Then the 7 will end. Until then, bye-bye.